After walking through the first two pictures, Mussorsgki and Hartmann take us for a stroll in a garden filled with playing children. Moving on, we'll look at a cart on enormous wheels drawn by oxen. And finally, we witness a lovely ballet of unhatched chicks. This and more coming right up on Conducting Pills. Hello everyone, I'm Gianmaria Griglio and I welcome you to a new episode of Conducting Pills. If you're new here, this channel is all about classical music, score analysis and conducting tips. I want to thank all of my patrons for making this series possible. And now, on with Mussorgsky. From Italy, we move to France, specifically to Paris, near the Louvre. There, in the garden of the Tuileries, a swarm of children and nurses are playing and quarreling. At least this is the description we get once more from Vladimir Statov, as Hartmann's original painting was lost. We enter a light-hearted atmosphere. The woodwinds alone, playing in a mid to high register, open the piece. The movement in B major is built on an ABA structure. Notice the adjective in the tempo marking, capriccioso, meaning capricious. The whole movement is rather short and quite delicate. The same material is reworked, creating a crescendo that gradually introduces strings in pizzicato, harps and horns. And returns on its own steps, closing the A part. The violins languidly whisper something, and flute, clarinet and harp quickly respond with a chatter. The strings retake the lead, and the woodwinds overlap with their chatter, leading back to a shortened variations of the A section, serving also as coda of the movement. It seems like we're going back to the A section, but in fact, the two images overlap, employing elements from both sections, and this is particularly evident at number 37. And shortly after, the movement delicately ends on a pianissimo. We would now expect the promenade again, but, surprise, we're thrown right into the next painting. Maybe the two were next to one another in the exhibition. According to Statov, this is the depiction of a Polish cart on enormous wheels drawn by oxen. The title suggests that the scene takes place in the area of Sandomierski, a popular wine region in the southeast of Poland. The structure is ABA with a coda, and the key, once again, G-sharp minor. The orchestration suggests not so much darkness, but extreme weight. The wheels turn slowly in the alternating thirds of the cellos and basses with mute, doubled by the contrabassoon and by the first bassoon, while the second holds a pedal on the dominant. The theme is entrusted to the instrument who can best portray heaviness, a solo tuba. The phrase is repeated with a difference. The brief change of harmony is extended with a triad built on the lowered dominant. The harmonic mutation is now expanded and provides the excuse for a big crescendo. And notice how the thickness of the sound is achieved also by the second violins playing divisi in 4. Four bars later, the flutes, the third oboe, and the first violins add another layer. The harmony is still the same, but the voicing and the parts moving in contrary motion add an enormous tension. Starting at rehearsal number 41, Mussorgsky moves back towards G-sharp minor. A small diminuendo creates just enough room for the crescendo, leading to the triple forte. The theme returns in octaves throughout the orchestra. Slowly but surely, a diminuendo starts taking the carriage away. Instruments are left behind and the tuba solo returns. An echo of the theme is passed to a solo horn with mute in the low register of the instrument. There is no marked rallentando, but the music slows down in the last bars when the 8 notes turn into quarter notes, and the carriage simply vanishes in the distance on the pizzicatos of the double basses. The promenade that follows takes on a different perspective, keeping some of the distant sound in the orchestration started only with flutes in the high register and 2 clarinets. Oboes and bassoons answer a couple of bars later. The music is pulled towards the low register, becoming ominous. It rises up from the double basses to the first violins, crying out in their high register in a sinister D minor. Suddenly, the atmosphere is interrupted by an anticipation of the next picture. The Ballet of the Unhatched Chicks, a very fast-paced movement. This fifth painting was created by Hartmann for the ballet Trilby, produced at the Bolshoi Theatre in 1871. In contrast with the previous movement, Mussorgsky paints a light-hearted scherzino, a small scherzo in ABA form with a repeat of the first part. The first 4 bars are characterized by the short 8 notes with grace notes forming a light melody in the flutes. The melody is answered with an ascending scale. Notice the grace notes element in the oboes overlapping the bassoon's scale. The episode is repeated with an expansion of the scales stopping all the way up on a D flat before the repeat. The trio maintains the same lightness. The grace notes are still present in the main line, sustained by trills of the first violins and a pedal of the horn on the F. The 8 bars phrase is repeated with a different orchestration. So much color is added by Ravel by using a different technique in the flutes and by the addition of the celesta and a few other instruments. The second phrase follows the same pattern. First, the oboe in its highest register, where it can sound a bit more duck-like. Then the rest, with the line given to the first violins. The 8th section returns, and the movement closes as light as it began. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button right below this video and ring the bell so you will get notified every time a new video comes out. For more in-depth analysis, conducting technique and conducting exercises, look on my website where you can find more than 100 videos and follow my Facebook group. And if you want to support this series, you're always welcome to do so on Patreon. All the links are in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think about this piece. If you have any suggestions for future videos, and in the next episode of this series, we'll move on to the third part of this wonderful piece. In the meanwhile, please continue to enjoy music and be well. Ciao! Generally speaking, a pulsing point corresponds with the beat within the pattern. These points are connected by a stroke, straight or curved. Each stroke can also have other characteristics. Long